Welcome back. Country clubs first started popping up across the U.S. around 140 years ago, and back then they were only for white people. It wasn't until the early 1900s that the first black country club opened right here in Connecticut in Cheshire. NBC Connecticut's Jane Chaco takes us there in this week's Connecticut in Color.
On the corner of West Main Street and Mountain Road in Cheshire, grass and weeds grow, fighting to break through the pavement. The traffic, noisy and constant. But 100 years ago, it was a rural road, quiet and remote. This solace was where the Cheshire Country Club once stood, a club owned by black people for black people. Its success was documented in 1917 in the New York Age, a prominent black newspaper. The article said, with the opening of the Cheshire Country Club in this place, Connecticut has what is probably the only country club for colored people in this country. Rachel Guest, the director of the Silas Bronson Library in Waterbury, stumbled upon the clippings when looking for something else.
What I learned about the Cheshire Country Club was so significant. This was the first African-American country club in the country, and it was created at a time, a very dark period in our nation's history.
An article in the Detroit Free Press, printed in 1919, says the idea for the club came from a Waterbury man named Johnson Hale, a chef and a leading caterer of Waterbury. He and a board of governors approved applications for 200 club members.
The Cheshire Country Club was started by people in Waterbury who had moved up here from the Deep South. So these were people who knew just how bad it could be in other places in this country.
We couldn't find pictures in newspaper archives, but descriptions of the club said it was a two-story structure with a veranda that ran along the entire length of the house. Inside, a reception room for parties and smaller rooms for billiards and lounging. The property also had tennis courts and a 5-hole golf course.
If you live someplace where you're constantly on edge, being able to go someplace where you can genuinely relax and enjoy the best things in life, that it means so much.
Newspapers printed various events that happened at the club, like banquets, dinners with federal officials, dances. The spectacles and location drew in people from Connecticut and beyond.
I think one of the lessons from this story is that these are people who lived in an incredibly dangerous time period, who faced overwhelming obstacles, and so they still managed to be successful.
It's unclear when the club closed, but the Cheshire Historical Society believes the club was turned into a shopping and office building. Today, a popular Italian restaurant and driving range are near the club's former site. The club's opening in 1917 beats the Shady Rest Country Club in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, that claims to be the first black country club. But it didn't open until 1921, making the Cheshire Country Club a piece of Connecticut history worth remembering. In Cheshire, Jane Chaco, NBC Connecticut News.